Hello, Epic 7. Look, I know Nightmare Raid can be a pain, but the value is worth. So today I'll bring you a guide for what many consider to be the most difficult Nightmare boss of them all. Today we show you how to beat Secretary Vera. Safe, easy, and consistently. Vera is a fight that many think is hard, but if you have the right units and the right strategy, it's actually quite easy. Now, there's several videos of different teams out there, but this one's my favorite. So let's jump right in and talk about the team. Something I will do in this video is use standard builds. No taking RTA units offline, and hopefully no re-gearing of units beyond maybe an artifact change here and there. Now in this team I am using a collaboration unit in the form of Edward. If you do not have Edward Elric, you can use a variety of fire units like Sirmia, Milam, Politis, Roy, even Fire Charlotte. It's just that this fight is so filled with debuffs, Edward is a natural for it. Also in Phase 3, you do increased damage the more extra attacks you proc on Vera. Ed really helps stack up that damage modifier, making Stage 3 a cakewalk. For a stat line, you want to make sure he has a 100% crit chance, because Vera changes her element, you can't rely on elemental advantage. You dump the rest into crit damage and HP, as Edward is an HP scaler. You'll want him either on Lifesteal or the Golden Rose artifact to give him a little bit of self-sustain for when Hazel's on cooldown. If you're running Lifesteal, you can pick a damage dealing artifact, but don't use Daydream Joker as it's turned off for the majority of this battle. Next on the team we'll be running Lilius. Lilius is the GOAT of this fight. She stacks extra attacks via her dual attack for Phase 2. She has an AoE cleanse and a self cleanse, meaning we don't really need any ER on our team. She also does significant damage when built with crit damage. For a stat line, we want at least 50% crit chance. Lilius's passive gives herself a 50% crit chance boost. Once again, you can't rely on elemental advantage because Vera changes her element in Phase 2. Speed doesn't matter, beyond that she needs to be the fastest unit on the team, even if only by 5%. Stuff the rest into crit damage and HP because, like Edward, she's an HP scaler. For an artifact, it's player's choice, but I do like Ancient Dragon Legacy for the destruction buff, so that way her S3 really pops off on damage. Now for Mascot Hazel, who's becoming one of the top PvE healers lately. Mascot Hazel needs a little bit of bulk, maybe 13k health by 1100 defense, the more the better. And she needs to be the second fastest unit on the team so that she can get the greater attack buff off. Mine has 220% ER for Rift, but that's not needed if you're running Lilius. If you aren't running Lilius, then you want her to have 200% ER. That way she can be your buffer and your cleanser at the start of the fight. And a side note on that, if you are running 200% ER, you can run her faster than Lilius. That way she applies Gab to Mercedes, and then when Lilius uses her S3, it procs off of a Gab skill, and she'll do significantly more damage. This will help if you're struggling clearing the ads on Stage 1. You may want to go for that speed tuning. As for an artifact, she can wear anything from Idol's Cheer to Touch of Rekos to any healing artifact that you like. And finally we come to Mercedes. Mercedes spams AoE and multi-target hits and really helps clear the mobs on Stage 1, and she also brings great damage to the team. Her passive proccing extra attacks, her ability to counterattack, Magic for Friends going off, all these things stack the extra attack passive in Stage 3 that helps make Stage 3 so fast and efficient. I recommend for stats you keep her around 3k attack by 300 crit damage, more attack the better. Counter set is her best in slot, but she can run on pretty much any set as long as she hits hard. And do try to give her a little bit of bulk, like at least 10k health by 900 defense, so she doesn't die to a sneeze. She will definitely need her own artifact Magic for Friends. And on a final note, and this is very important, for a Guardian we're going to go with Xeon. You see, this is a left side fight. In all left side fights we take Xeon as our Guardian, all right side fights we take Kazran as our Guardian. What works great about Xeon is he has a defense break in his kit that is a 100% chance, and I mean 100% chance. It never misses. It ignores ER, so there's no RNG in his kit at all. When you use this skill, you drop a defense break on Vera. And to boot, whatever unit uses Xeon gets an extra turn, so it doesn't even use up that unit's skill. In fact, you can use Xeon to cycle the cooldowns on a unit so that the unit can get his skill after he uses Xeon. So enough talking about the teams, let's jump into the fight. So we just follow this pathing to the west until you come to this intersection where we fight our first mini-boss. Now this is a plagued mini-boss. As I said in other videos, the nickname of the mini-boss tells you a little bit about him. A plagued mini-boss is poisonous. Just by attacking it, you stack poisons, and when it attacks you, it poisons you too. So you actually get a lot of poisons. You'll notice the poison stacks going up, but Lilius is fantastic at cleansing all of that away. If you don't have Lilius on your team, you might want to manual this just so that you can intelligently use Hazel's S2 and S3 for cleansing when the poison stacks get too high. Once that boss is dead, we keep moving south, and when you come to this fight right here, you want to turn auto off and control the fight, because this is the last fight before Vera. We want to make sure we have all of our skills ready to fight Vera. So everybody's just going to use their S1s. You should be able to clear through this fight pretty easily just using your S1 skills, and make sure that all of our skills are ready for the big show. Now that we've arrived at the corner, we can go ahead and drink these blue potions to top off our health. And because our morale is in the yellow, we can go ahead and camp to get back up in the green for that extra 10% health bonus. Now camping results don't really matter unless you're wanting to farm the rest of the mini-bosses, in which case Myth on Lilius.
According to Chandran mythology, we were all created by the stars.
And of all things, Sad Memory on Ed, which nobody wants to hear anything about except for Mercedes. Are your best camping results. You don't get much out of it, but you get enough. Now you make sure auto is turned off and we're ready to jump into the Vera fight. Now at the start of the fight, Vera will summon the eggs and hatch one of them, which will put debuffs on your team. The act of summoning the eggs will trigger Lilius's S2, giving her immunity so she will not take any debuffs. And since she's tuned to go first, her S3 will be able to remove all of the negative debuffs from our team. She also does substantial damage, as you notice. Those eggs are in a pretty bad shape. And after we put a greater attack buff with Mascot Hazel on our Mercedes, we'll be able to clear those eggs entirely. Now, it would have been nicer if Mercedes was faster than my Ed, but it is what it is. We use the S3, and this should kill off all of the eggs in Spider. If you're not killing by this point in the phase, you may want to consider an additional AoE unit in the form of Politis or Charlotte in place of Edward.
Let me help you.
You'll give up a little bit of focus damage later, but it's important you get past this first part of the phase. Now, every time you attack Vera, you'll notice she gets a Mystery of Life proc. And that Mystery of Life stacks up to 5 times, and on the 5th Mystery of Life proc, it doesn't matter where Vera is on the CR bar, she'll jump all the way to the front of the line and attack. There's no controlling Vera, really. You can push her back, you can even use Fire Litica to throw her to the back of the line, but on the 5th hit, she will push up. There's the 5th hit, and notice Vera jumps to the front of the line and attacks. And her attack does push back the team.
Obey me. I can't.
It looks like we might push phase here, and that's nice. Pushing phase in one round is great. If she summons the eggs, you just got to do it again. Remember, when the eggs are in place, you cannot single target attack Vera. If you single target attack Vera, she will counter and stun your whole team. It's a run-ending mechanic. So now we are in phase 2. Phase 2 is where we need to get a defense break on that cocoon because we're on a timer. We have to kill that cocoon before it hatches or get it so low that when it does hatch, it doesn't do pop damage to us. So we pop our Xeon, that gives us the guaranteed defense break, and now we're ready to do some damage.
I'll show you who's in charge.
We use the S3 because it does pretty good damage and it also pushes those ads back.
I will release my power.
Didn't push them back. Lovely.
Beyond the abyss.
Every time you attack, the ads push forward. Those ads will strip and push your team back. There is a little bit of RNG in those guys.
Please hurry. It's urgent.
They pushed Lilius back, but they couldn't push my ER Hazel back. Notice how hard we're hitting this egg because of that defense break. If you don't have that defense break, it makes this phase very difficult. Now what happens is when that egg gets its ultimate, it'll hatch and it'll do damage proportional to how much health it has left. Which if you aren't below 20%, has a really good chance of wiping your team.
Obey me.
The nice thing about the defense break early on and the team we're running is we should be able to kill that egg sac and take almost no damage at all.
It takes a lot of courage to challenge me.
Okay, we're definitely down in the safe range where even if it hatched right now, we wouldn't take any damage, but it's ready to die. We're going to hit the ad here because remember, hitting the egg sac CR pushes the ads, so there's no reason for Hazel to hit the egg sac and push the ads.
Complete. Blaze.
All right, try me. This way.
This dual attack should clinch it. There we go. At 0, it hatches early. We take very little pop damage.
Obey me.
And there was an extra attack from Mercedes. You'll notice it says damage suffered increased ×2. Every time you get an extra hit on Vera, it increases the damage she takes. So right now she's at a ×2 multiplier on incoming damage. So our Ed hit his S1 there for 14k damage.
Let's get it over
I'll
with.
show you who's in
We
charge.
use Lilies for a dual attack. There's extra damage ×3. Ed counters, there's extra damage ×4. This S3 ought to hit pretty hard at 4x damage. 59k damage from Mr. Elric. We'll burn the S2 to get an extra hit
Obey
in.
me.
There's
Obey me.
×5 damage. May as well top off on healing.
Oh my.
I'll start.
We could S3, but I want to get the extra stack, so we'll S1. Now we're at ×6 damage. That S1 that did 14k earlier just did 26k.
For victory!
Now if your team's a little slower on damage, eventually you'll build up the souls, and about the time you get enough souls to use Xeon, Vera's immunity will drop off, and you can drop Xeon, and now you have a defense break on the worm, and you will tear it to shreds. But my team is overpowered for this fight. That extra attack gets us up to ×8 damage.
All right, try me. This way.
There's ×9 damage.
Still a long way to go.
I wish someone would help me.
This Gab
Just as
Mercedes is
planned.
going to hit so hard. ×10 damage. ×11
Obey
damage.
me.
Holy smokes, ×12
Obey me.
damage. And Vera is dead. And that's it. That's how we clear this phase. We'll go ahead and grab our loot. I will show you where the mini bosses are in case you want to fish for more. So at this intersection right here, we have a commander. If you attack the commander, he orders his troops up. So anytime you hit the commander, he CR pushes the whole team. So this is one that can actually get you killed on auto because it's a big CR push. So you may want to turn auto off and kill the 2 ads first. Once the 2 ads are done, you can slap it back on auto because you don't have to worry about the entire team being pushed. Now he's only pushing himself.
Will you help me?
If you ever fight a mini boss and think to yourself, how the heck did my whole team die?
Obey me.
It's usually because it's a commander style mini
Obey
boss.
me.
Once this mini boss is dead, we travel all the way to the far corner. And in this bottom right hand corner there is one more mini boss. This one is a corrupted style. We fight a corrupted style on the way to the queen as well. Corrupted bosses have a pop skill so that when they attack, they hit you with kind of a Rangar's drink style pop damage. It's not a big deal. It really never kills you. So finish that guy off, teleport out. Here's the completed section of the Vera corner. I didn't kill that one boss in that bottom corner. I ran out of morale because nobody likes camping with Edward. And that's it. Hopefully we get something good. What do we get, Vera? Okay, only 188 piece, and it is kind of mediocre. And by mediocre, I mean really, really bad. 1 off minimum on everything except for the speed. But I guess it's a speed check, so we will go ahead and speed check it. Maybe this will be my my first 25 speed piece right here. Nope. Man, we 7-10 split that right down the middle. So, no luck for me, hopefully better luck for you, and hopefully this... No luck for me, but hopefully better luck for you, and hopefully this Vera team helps you with your Nightmare Raid. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments section, and as always, like and subscribe. Have a great one, everybody.